everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited today. We're talking about New Year's new movies, January movies. It's going to be super fun. I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Mary's here.
Hello.
How are you doing?
So excited I got to watch all of these because I said, boys, mom's got to do this. Everybody be quiet. I'm paying attention. This is important for work. So I'm feeling really good to be here.
Yeah, you've had a fun January. You got to travel a little bit, and nice little post-Christmas vacation.
It was. I went to Puerto Rico for a little bit on the beach, did some work there,
nice.
but got to soak in some blue sky and then feel a little bit more ready to be back cold here in Utah.
Yeah.
And watch snowy movies too.
Yes. Well, at least we got one snowy movie.
Actually, you're right. The others weren't really, well, we'll talk about that, but if you think about it, they weren't really January or Winter Fest kind of movies.
I think that's why they changed the name, because they just want to put whatever they want. They don't want to have to make winter movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked Samantha DePippo that, and she kind of was just like, still do this the other holidays. I'm like, really? But yeah, I think that's why, because if with New Year's new movies, you can have it be anytime.
Yeah, that's true. Any theme or anything where they're like, where should we put this? How about there?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, and this was an extremely successful month for them. So I guess it's working. What do I know?
Yeah.
I think almost every movie was over 2 million views, which it was right up there with all the Christmas movies.
Oh, that's great. People, that audience to be able to sustain it, and people kept wanting to watch. That's really good.
Yeah, and the show, the new show, The Way Home, it's done very well too, winning Sundays, I think, for both of the episodes they've had so far. And the 3 episodes, we've recapped that on our channel, so on our podcast, so you want to check that out. But yeah, it's been a good month for Hallmark. Good start to 2023. But I have to say, I was overall pleased with this month. I can't remember what I gave in the previews. We did snowflakes, but I think I was pretty pessimistic about it. It just, because I didn't love The Wedding Bells last year. There wasn't a whole lot else, to kind of excite me. But overall, it wasn't a bad batch.
No, I agree. And yeah, maybe like you said, kind of coming in thinking, all right, I'll give it a try, and lower expectations. What made for a pleasant surprise for this new trilogy in particular. I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. And it's surprising on a lot of levels, because usually Hallmark's terrible at sequels, and also they don't really know what to do with married couples.
Yes.
But I felt like these were pretty good. I mean, I preferred all 3 of them to the originals.
Me too. I totally agree that they often, you're exactly right. They don't know how to treat a married couple. In this case, they gave them new challenges or new depth to their relationship, things they're working out together. It was a new stage. I love it, because some of my favorite movies, they just end and you're like, oh, I'd love to see what happens next for that couple. And it was really cool to see that.
People always say that, and then I'm like, don't say that, because it's usually terrible.
They'll ruin it. Yeah.
Like they have them breaking up, or like, I don't know. They just don't know what conflict to give them in a lot of these movies, like in the All My Heart movies, for example.
Oh yeah. Or the
didn't know what conflict to give them.
Yeah, or the ones with, what was her name, Taylor? Oh, the 3 of them when they met at the ski resort. Yeah.
Oh, well, so that was such a bummer, because the first 2 were so good.
Yeah.
And then the third one, they should have just waited, because they couldn't, because of COVID. They had problems getting everybody together, and so they had to like Zoom people in, and it just
it could have been often when there's a sequel, it's how are we going to plan our wedding? But in this case, they were all married and then moved to this, these other, and each one of the couples had differences. It wasn't like they each, okay, now we're going to have the same situation for this one and this one. They each had some different wrinkles. So
yeah, I agree. Well, let's talk about the first one, The Dog Lover's Guide to Dating. This was on the first. And it stars Rebecca Dalton, Corey Sevier, director Craig Price, writers Catherine Ray, Kate Somerville, Juliana Wimbles, and it's Simon believes Chloe is the girl of his dreams, but can't seem to win over her beloved pup. He enlists dog trainer Alex and soon finds himself wondering where his real connection might be. So that was a pretty big sigh when I said this.
I know. So in all honesty, I did see, I had it on my DVR and I was watching what you and some of our other Hallmarkies podcast hosts had been saying about it on Twitter or with each other. And I thought, oh no.
Yeah,
So
this one,
already thinking, and
this one was rough.
Yeah.
Like Corey Sevier, he needs to be a little more picky. He's just taking anything that's offered. I mean, and
I like him, and
so many movies. He was in Pumpkin Everything, and then he was on One for a Lifetime, and then he was the Noel Next Door. And then I feel like there's even one other one
I know. I'm trying to think.
And then this one, and this, I mean, it's the worst of all those that I listed. No question.
I mean,
but I like him. I like Rebecca. I like both these actors, but I did not like the story. I didn't like that. I don't know, this sort of kind of love triangle. Like he's with this other person, or he kind of is, but he's just like taking care of her dog. But the thing that I didn't like the most out of all of it is I did not like the fact that they made her having a legitimate eating disorder a like quirky attribute. I mean, the fact that like she only eats protein bars and eating a sandwich is like a big stretch. Like, we're really getting out of my comfort zone.
I know. I thought this isn't a good look. Like, she makes that beautiful plate of food in the beginning, gorgeous omelet, beautiful presentation, and then she puts it down on the floor for her dog. And later in the movie, she's like, I have dinner, a power bar. And I thought, oh no, I think
that's like concerning.
It was a little concerning to me. I mean, I just thought that shouldn't be normalized, or at least that's not normal behavior.
Yeah, and they were using it as like her like quirky, fun, cute. Look how like eccentric she is.
Yeah,
like,
and
no.
I just kept getting bothered by it. Yeah, I agree. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I thought frankly that the veterinarian was the better catch.
Yeah,
he was charming.
I know, that's a good point. I know, right? and you had pointed out, or I saw this somewhere, someone had said it was really hard to keep the two blonde girls separate or differentiate between them and their view. And I all my years on the radio, I can't stand vocal fry. And one of them had that in one scene in particular. It was really bad. She's like,
people might not know what you mean by that.
Oh, when you do it, it's like, I can't even fake it. It drives me nuts. When it's like in the back of your throat, that makes sense. There was a part where she has some extreme vocal fry and she's like, OMG, Alex, you are a literal queen. So I can't do it, but it's like, it kind of goes, it's like the Kardashians do it. A fair amount of younger women have been doing it in recent years, where it's just kind of like in the back of the throat.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Valley Girl kind of.
I couldn't get over the voice, but it was a funny scene though. I can't even remember where I wrote that down from, when she kind of like, you're a literal queen. And I thought I kind of actually want to use that with my nieces. Even though I'm making fun of it, I was like, my teenage nieces might find that actually really funny if I try that.
Yeah, I mean, the dogs were cute, but there really just wasn't much to go off of here. And I thought the movie was pretty poorly made. I'm pretty sure this is an acquisition. And like the sound mix quality, whenever they were outside, when they kind of wind or whatever, like they needed to do a better job with ADRing it, because it just sounded so loud, the wind.
Yeah, that could have been mixed better. I agree. So I would say for people, if you needed something on in the background while you're working or doing laundry, you could do this one, but it's not a sit down and watch it with all your attention. I think you'll start to notice these things that we picked up on that we just didn't like.
It's a weird choice for New Year's Day as well.
I know. Yeah. So maybe it was just something that they acquired and thought, let's put that there on the schedule.
Because it wasn't set it was in like the summer.
Exactly. Yeah, there was no New Year anything to it. And I've never liked when, I don't know, I guess he wasn't in a full-on dating relationship with the other girl, but I've never liked when there seems to be some sort of blurry where you're taking someone else out to dinner, but yet you're also trying to date this person. Like, don't be, I admire loyalty and fidelity, and some of these movies, they really push that where you're thinking, wait, are you gonna now cheat on them? So, not that it was cheating, but
the emotional cheating
yes,
is just not, it's harder because the thing is that you don't have that much time in these movies to become invested in the relationships and other things. So if they spend them with another person and you've got the emotional cheating thing, that it just makes it's all the less time that we have with our two leads spending, and so it just hurts the whole movie.
I think so too.
I actually was asked to give some advice on what I think works and doesn't work in these movies to some industry professionals, I guess. And that was one of the things I said, is that emotional cheating, we don't like it because it not only hurts, makes our characters more unlikable. Because I think the idea is though we're creating tension, we're creating romantic tension, but there's just so little time in these movies for our characters to really bond, that I would way rather have some scenes of them like going on a date or something like that than any time spent with any other partners.
Yes, I agree. Good for you. Hopefully they take your advice.
I hope so. So yeah, this one I would give a two crowns, I think, too.
Yeah, I don't think I'll watch it again. So I'd probably go 2. Yeah. If I want to be nice, the dogs were cute, I'd bump it to 2.5, but I think I'll stick at 2.
The dogs were cute. I will give that.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Okay, so now we have the Wedding Veil movies, and this is the second trilogy. Some people were saying, why are they saying this is a trilogy now that they have 6 movies? But it's like 2 sets of 3.
Right.
2 trilogies.
Exactly.
Kind of like what you have with the Star Wars. You've got the prequel trilogy, the sequel trilogy,
the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard, people.
No, I totally get it.
Yeah. And as we said, we agree. These 3 better than last 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I think all around. So maybe they listen to our advice. Probably not, but we can pretend.
Yeah.
We can pretend.
So. Yeah. And if they want to do another 3 next year, then it's probably going to be their children. But they'll have to jump into the future.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. Like, who else can you have get married?
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have to spin off some of the side characters, I guess, and see how they're doing. This will be a universe, let's be honest.
I mean,
they're going to do a series, and it's going to be on Disney Plus, and we'll be looking forward to new.
Well, and I think all 3 of these women are in their 40s, so they technically could have children old enough to get married.
Yeah.
You know, if they if they did like the soap opera thing where.
Oh yeah.
You know, all of a sudden, like in soap operas, they'll literally have kids just like open the door, go in, walk out. They're like an adult.
They could spin off like sidebar stories with this veil, then going to somewhere else, like the sister in Spain from the 3rd movie. That was intriguing. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's something there. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
So how do you want to go through the first one?
So yes,
first?
Let's go through. So the Wedding Veil expectations, and this is Lacey Chabert, Kevin McGarry, and the whole crew. This was written by Judith and Sandra Berg, directed by Peter Benson. In the first movie of this sequel trilogy, Avery and her husband Peter are in the midst of renovating the old house they purchased, which is proving to be a bigger undertaking than they anticipated. Avery has some exciting news to share with him, but is waiting for just the right moment. Meanwhile, Avery's mother-in-law, Grace, reconnects with a former beau, and Peter has concerns. Between that, the pitfalls of remodeling and navigating the politics of having a new boss at the museum, Avery's lucky to have Emma and Tracy, who offer support from afar, as well as in person, when they decide a video chat won't suffice. When newlywed Tracy returns the antique wedding veil to Emma, the friends may find that they haven't seen the last of its magic. And I think this is probably my least favorite of the three, but I still overall, I definitely liked it better than last year, which last year's to me was very boring. There was just like nothing.
Lots of talking.
A lot of talking, them planning this event. And in this one, I guess because I have built a house, I had a house built for me, I could definitely relate to that stress because it is incredibly stressful. I remember when they were building my house and I had everything all boxed up for like months because they told me that I was going to be done. And somebody told me that they said, when are your cabinets getting installed? And it would at that point, it would have been like a couple of weeks or whatever. It's just like, plan on moving in 30 days after your cabinets are installed. And she was absolutely right, down to almost the day we closed, 30 days after.
Wow.
So if you all want a tip, that's a good one.
It helps you with your mindset. Because
it was really stressful to always be kind of like everything in boxes for months, everything kind of waiting. You never knew when you were gonna be moving. It was right during Christmas.
And you've got your time frame in your mind of thinking, it'll be at this time, surely. But for her to tell you that was probably helpful because and same thing. We lived in our home when we had our kitchen remodeled, and people told us the same thing. Just tack on an extra, I can't remember how many weeks. And I'm like, no, that can't be true. But it was. And that helped us be like, okay, this is going to take longer. So that in this movie, it was like good to see them, like you said, because you connected with that, and they had more to do. They had more of these moments where they had to communicate, or they had challenges, or things that came up, and kind of it was, though sometimes they made rather quick decisions about some of it, and I thought, are you going to check the cost of that tile? That one, perfect. You're like, well, but maybe
that's fair. That's true. And there were some people online saying, this is rich people problems with the baby and the renovation. And I can understand that. But I do also think that a lot of people can relate to the stress of renovating a house. I don't think that that's like purely super rich people.
Exactly. Oh yeah. And any level of renovation you're doing, you can relate to that, having to make those decisions. And things aren't coming through when you hoped. And
I was lucky that I was able to do it all by myself, because then I could just pick what I liked. It would be really hard. I mean, you could speak to this, like having to make those decisions, because I know my parents, I swear they spent one year just going over wallpaper samples, like debating what, and it would make me crazy because I'm the kind of person, I just want to decide.
Yes. So actually that's a good point. So in the movie, for them to just be like, that one, I'm like, that's
my personality. That's me.
Stop. Yeah. Don't ruminate and think over it too much. Just do it, Yeah. Kind of like Phoebe in Friends, when she would, what would she say? She'd like flip a coin and be like, what were you going to say? Before she showed up. And then she's like, I wanted this. See, that's your answer.
Yeah. So. Well, when I had eye surgery the year that my house was built, I had it actually twice that year. This is 2012. And so my mom was in town helping. They live here now, but at the time they were in California, but my mom was in town to help me because I'd had the surgery. And we had to do, I wasn't like blind or anything, but it was just needed help. And so we had the meeting to pick out all the stuff for the house because it was being built. And we went down there and they had told us a little bit. So I looked at it a little bit in advance online. But then we went down and I was just like, that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. And my mom was like, are you sure you don't want to think it over? No, I
Nope,
do
don't
not.
make me double think this. Don't make me, just please, just go with it. That's a smart way to do it.
I have to say, now it's been a decade. This year, it'll be 10 years in my house. And I still love my house. So it worked out.
Yay.
But I think that would be stressful on a marriage, like having to make all those decisions and stuff, because people like different stuff. And
I had to let some things go. My husband had to let some things go. And I think this couple, I enjoyed their I really enjoyed their communication and how they worked together on this. Oh gosh, it was so interesting, the moment when you can tell they were a little bit off from each other, because their whole routine at nighttime would be to take off all those decorative pillows, get in bed, and then clap together to turn off the lights. And then there's this scene where you can tell they're just off from each other as they're struggling with these different things, and they clap, then she claps and he claps, and the lights can go on and off, on and off. I thought that was really well done to kind of show that physical nature of how
that was good.
They need to get back in sync. And then in the end, when they twist it, and she's like, lights off.
Yeah, that was good. I like that too. Yeah. And I mean, if anything, if I was going to say rich people problems, the fact that, or privilege or whatever, the fact that these people can evidently fly all around the world at a moment's notice.
Oh my word. I kept thinking, I know this is so sweet, her friends are here, but just to get a plane ticket that day and fly there, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That happened in all three movies. That was not at all something that I could relate to.
No.
Because I just went to Puerto Rico, and that plane ticket, I was not. I mean,
it's the flights. That's why I didn't end up doing a trip this last year. I did a Disneyland trip, but this year just the flights were so expensive to everywhere, not just Disneyland.
Oh yes, and just to get them last minute and show up looking so refreshed instead of bedraggled. I mean, to go that distance, you're just gonna be like, oh, I just need to lay down.
Yeah.
Brush my hair. I don't know. They look so cute. Lacey's outfits, they dressed her very well. She looked gorgeous. Some of those dresses were so pretty on her.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of those were her clothes.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
She looks so great.
Which of the three couples do you think has the biggest chance of sticking it out?
Oh, probably the first, Lacey and Kevin. What are their characters' names? Peter and Avery. Though at the end, I was a little bit worried in the Italy movie, the second one with Autumn Reeser, because of this back and forth and this poll, are we going to be here or going to be there? Somebody has to decide. My sister married a man she met who's from England, and they had to sit down and decide, where are we going to live? And it was England. And so she gave up all of her family here and lives there. And that's a hard thing, but it's easier now with technology. And if you have money, you just fly back and forth. So I was a little bit worried about them. But
I think I would also say Lacey and Kevin, because they did have some problems, but nothing that and they did seem the most actually truly in love with each other of the three couples.
Yeah.
But you hope that all of our Hallmark couples will stay together. But...
I know. And I liked how because I was worried about Victor Webster and Al, because of this whole, they couldn't ever see each other. But for 19 years, I worked at 4:30 in the morning. And so my husband and I had to find ways to see each other and spend time. And you just carve that out. And once you do, but it's so much better now that I don't work at 4 in the morning, let's be honest. And so I think them in the third movie, them saying we need to figure this out together and spend more time together is promising for their relationship too.
Yeah. So I would give this one, I liked the whole thing with his mom too, and this was cute.
Oh yeah. As soon as she was looking at the couch and she hands over the veil, hold this for a sec. I'm like, oh, she's gonna get it. So yeah, I agree.
So, I give this one a 4, I think. 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah. I would do that. Because let's see. I'm thinking because I
Or
can give
maybe
all three of them.
3.75, because I think it is my least favorite, but I still enjoyed it of the three movies. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I'll give it a 4. I completely connected with her pregnancy symptoms. That made me laugh so hard. Some of those I'm like, oh, she's like smelling she's like, oh, that smells terrible. So yeah, that was a 4 for me. It was my second favorite of the 3.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then we had Wedding Veil Inspiration.
Yeah.
This is Autumn Reeser, Paolo Bernardini, and then of course the rest of the crew. This is written by Betsy Morris, director Terry Ingram, and it's in the second movie of the sequel trilogy. Emma is teaching and working hard to prove she can step into the department chair role as Paolo's lace shop is about to open. On track for her life plan, Emma feels strongly that things fall into place before she and Paolo grow their family. As the couple navigates their busy work schedules and finding the perfect time, Emma bumps heads with the current chair of her department and starts questioning her choices. With support from Paolo and perhaps a little help from the Veil, will Emma find the courage to stop planning her life and start living it? I do have to say, I do think that all three of these actors probably a little old for playing these characters. I mean, they're just getting married, they're just starting out their life, they're just they're all 40,
a little
so
bit
like
older.
40-ish,
Yes, I know.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they do need
that's something
that Hallmark needs to work on. They need to get some actors in their 20s that they can, you know, it's like they had that crop from like 2012, 2015. And then they've kind of, I feel like they've had people here and there, but I don't know, just almost nobody who's like young.
I know, no new actors or actresses in their 20s to kind of portray kind of what this stage of life is for most couples.
Yeah.
And that so you just kind of have to think, well, they're really younger than they are, but they're a little bit older than they are. And you know, when you read the whole synopsis, they don't even mention the side couple, which was such an enjoyable part. And they seemed a little younger, didn't they? It was that Carlo Marx and Lily is the character's name. And I can't remember the actress's name. They were a little bit younger.
So Allison is 46, Autumn is 42, and Lacey is 40.
Oh, okay.
So really,
yeah, you got to get to step in if you want a baby. Or several.
Yeah, they all are playing about at least 10 years younger
than they were.
So,
yeah.
But that's easy to ignore. But it is something that Hallmark, I think, needs to work on.
Getting younger. Though, I mean, my sister I just mentioned in England, she got married at 42. But if they're trying to make the story, for example, I just watched a movie called Fall into Winter on the Great American Family Channel. It was Lori Loughlin and then this other actor who I really like. Now I'm blanking on
James Tupper.
Yes. So they're in their 50s, I think, and they keep talking about high school. And I see that happen in Hallmark movies too, where they keep being hung up on high school this, high school that. I thought nobody in their 40s and 50s is that hung up on high school anymore. They've lived a life since then.
Yeah.
So in that way, I thought that's another situation where 20-something actors would be better, or just take that out of the storyline.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So anyway, this one, I agree. The other couple with Carlo and Lily, was really cute.
Really cute. Really sweet how she just kept getting all bumbly and shy and awkward around him, and he just kept being like, I want to be with you, I want to date you, you know. And he kept pushing through that and showing her that he was interested in her, and she was able to kind of accept that. And that was it was cute storyline.
Yeah, when they bumped each other at the park, that was cute. And he's like, we can give up or we can take a chance. And then I liked that we're dating just for today.
Yeah. Yes, just to help, like just a little baby step. Let's just try today. And she's like, okay. So the whole Veil helping them, because he touched the Veil when they met. And usually it's like, seems in the past it was well, anyway, I'm just thinking too far into it, but they were really cute. I'm thinking way too much about
do we agree that deep dish pizza is not pizza?
Let's just call it something else.
It's like an Italian casserole. It's not a pizza.
Exactly. Call it an Italian casserole. And he was so funny that he's this real Italian who's like, this is not pizza, my love. You know, like, please stop calling it pizza. Just have this Chicago casserole dish, which is yummy. It's, it's good. Yeah. That was really funny. I think he was so sweet to her. He had such funny mannerisms. The scene where her friends set up it was our side couple who set up the house so that they could have this Zoom date, by the water in the kiddie pool. And it was lovely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they had like a couple scenes where because he has to go to help his dad. Because he had committed, as far as you're talking about, like, you have to decide where you're going to live. Like, he decided that he was going to live there. He's even starting the store there. Yeah. But then what happens when, the illness calls him back? Like, that's tricky, I think. So they have like these little Zoom dates.
Right. Where they're separated.
Yeah.
And then he comes, and when he flies back to surprise her, I just thought, I would have told my husband, I'm getting on a plane right now. I just wouldn't be. Yeah. Though that plane ride's long, I wouldn't be. We text all the time throughout the day, even upstairs and downstairs as we work from home. Like
I just feel like rarely is the surprise aspect of something like so worth it that it overtakes like all of the what a pain it is and what like the worry and the other things that it causes. Like I just don't think being surprised is that fun.
Yes.
And
I like to know things. I'll be surprised when you call me to tell me you're getting on a plane to come home from Italy.
I agree.
Even though that's quite the long. And then he turns around and goes back. But that scene though, where he's like, I came to see you, and she's like, I was on my way to see you, and they hug, and I thought, this is cute. This is a good couple. They're trying to work it out. And with the weirdness with her boss trying to like force her out, I didn't think that was good management at all.
No, I didn't really understand what her boss was doing. So was her boss being intentionally difficult to try to kind of like push her metaphorically out of the nest?
I think so, by nitpicking her clothing and like other things. It was weird. Just I thought HR would have probably heard about that.
Like, I like Linda Boyd a lot as an actor. She's good. But I just thought her character was strange.
It was strange.
Like making somebody miserable because you want them to quit.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't agree with that management style. But maybe it did help her. Then she was like, oh, okay, now I have permission I needed to then make this change in my life. So I guess it worked.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast. My name is BJ.
And my name is Me Too. And we promise this promo is worth it, so please don't skip ahead.
We're two judgy friends who put our judgmental skills to work for you. We review the pilot episodes of new and popular shows and shows that our listeners request to answer your question, should I watch this?
Look, a lot of us are spending a lot more time at home, and yes, we should be reading and trying new projects and enriching ourselves, but does anything beat binging a great show?
Let us take the guesswork out of deciding what your next show will be. Tune in to The Pilot Podcast at thepilotpodcast.com.
She says that I think that life is difficult and hard, but I also think it's beautiful and full of magic. So that was cute.
That was a good line. Yeah. This was my favorite of the three because of moments like that.
Yeah.
Really sweet.
And I do appreciate, even though I thought the boss was weird, I do always appreciate sort of an epic quit moment.
Yeah, that's
done.
true.
I'm leaving. That was good.
I'm leaving. Yeah, that was good.
And
next time.
I thought it was also a good when they're talking about family, and I think it was she who said it. I can't remember, but he says that I thought I was your family. And I think that would be hard, especially if you did get married older. Like if I were to get married now, I'm 42. If I were to get married now, I think it would be really hard to view my spouse and myself as my family. I would just be thinking about my family. I think that would be a hard transition.
Yeah, it was for my sister. We did talk through that where she was
Yeah.
like, my family is my parents and my siblings, but now it really was okay, oh, I am creating this new family with my
Yeah.
husband,
I think that would
and
be hard.
yeah, and make that, oh yeah, and kind of cutting ties and not cutting ties. You still keep your ties with your parents, but the whole, like the Bible says, cleaving unto your spouse, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
finding
And
that
just like,
new way.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just thinking, like, changing the way you're thinking about it as far as like your priorities, your family, but
Mhm.
it's my new family. I don't know. I think
As well.
it would be
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah.
And
It's like,
so then Paolo flies to Chicago, they burn the 5-year plan, and then Mateo and Lily get married with the veil. So, and they announced that they're going to be making all these veils, but they're not going to
oh
have
yeah.
like the magic, I guess, of the veil or in these replicas. But I don't know. I don't really picture, I feel like that kind of old fashioned lace really isn't that popular.
Yeah, I don't see it that much.
No.
And in fact, sometimes it feels like brides nowadays back and forth on veils, if they even
Yeah.
have one. It's kind of, maybe they go in and out of trends but I don't know. I mean, with
Mhm.
all the, viral videos she was making with, with Lily's help, it must be a new, where they were like, the demand would be there, maybe,
Yeah.
at least in this universe.
So I give this, I think, a 4.25.
Yeah. I gave it a 4.5 because
Yeah.
it was cute. He nozzles her
Yeah.
neck. I'm a sucker for that.
Oh, yeah, that
And
was cute.
and that was cute. And the side romance was my favorite of the three. And I was optimistic about their future. And it was cute at the
Mhm.
wedding. She says she's pregnant. And he looks over her and he gives like that smile, and it was cute. So all
Yeah.
those things bumped it up for me to be my favorite.
Yeah. But 4.25 is pretty good score.
That was
All
a great
right.
score.
So then we have the wedding vow journey. And this is Alison Sweeney and Victor Webster's one. And this is directed by Ron Oliver and Karen Berger writing. In the third movie of the trilogy, Tracy is now head of the auction house, and Nick's restaurant is such a success, he's looking at expanding. Their success comes at a cost, however, as it gives them little time to see each other. The couple agree to make time for their long overdue honeymoon. They head to Greece, as it is the perfect place to relax and sightsee. When a travel delay costs the couple their hotel room, they get the opportunity to stay on a remote island nearby. Is it possible the veil is once again working its magic and bringing them exactly where they need to be? So yeah, it starts out with them like leaving post-its and stuff for each other because they
don't text or
can't
call.
see each other. And yeah, I feel like you can only do that so long.
Yeah. Like the next morning as a post-it, can't do it at noon. How about a dinner? And then the next, no dinner, I've got an appointment. And I thought, just call each other.
You've got to, in order to have a
live
functioning
in
marriage, I think you need to spend time together, some time
Yes.
together.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, they and so that was kind of, it went on a little too long, like maybe one or two post-its, but let's get this figured out quick. It was cute when they were deciding on a honeymoon spot with the globe, and they were just picking a spot as they spun it. But like we've talked about, to have your friends crash your honeymoon, no.
Crazy.
No, don't just,
yeah.
I mean, I know they're important to you. They're your best friends and they're coming over with all their money to catch a flight, though Italy's closer to Greece than, America.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Well, and also like she gets so upset with him cooking at night. And the thing is that I guess I can understand because that is his job, but it's also like a fundamental thing that we need to do on a daily basis. So I feel like it's different than like other work. It's not like he's at his laptop or something like that.
Yeah, or I don't know, working with power tools and waking you up, or no, I don't know. I was, that felt weird to me too. I'm like, he wants to cook and it looks good.
Yeah, and if you are literally asleep, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, that I thought it was just fine for him to cook. He's good at it. That kind of carried over from the first movie for me, that it's one of the things he likes to do. And
I mean,
Yeah,
I've been to Greece and I never
ooh,
had marinara sauce in Greece. I mean,
it does.
maybe there are marinara sauce in
Yeah.
Greece. I was looking, there are actually some recipes and stuff, but it's certainly not common that
Yeah.
you have. I was like, is this Italy, or maybe it's the island is like part Italy, part Greece? I don't know, but it just seemed like they were getting really confused because then they'd have moussaka and then they're having like spaghetti, and I'm like,
It was a little, yeah. Maybe it's because Hallmark just couldn't let go of the Italy theme from all last year. They were like, just gonna sneak it in, to this Greek island.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
also,
it's Mediterranean, but not
yeah,
Italian.
yeah, and like they're different countries, and also like how bad can you really make a red sauce? Like there's some that maybe are like a little tinny or a little like, but
Where they were like making
like
big
they were
faces.
like, what?
Yeah, they were
spitting
acting like
out.
it was a protein bar. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
They're like, well, there's no taste. Oh, can I do mention I loved
Yeah.
the donkey riding scene. It really
Yeah, that was
harkened me
really
back
funny.
to Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yeah. This
Just
one
going up on the
did,
donkey.
it really did bring in some more comedy. So I did appreciate that about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
lightening some of the heavy, like, these couples are facing. This was the comedy. It was much appreciated, and the scenery was gorgeous. I can't believe you've been to Greece. It looks amazing.
Yeah. Well, it was when I was 17, so it's been a long
Oh,
time. But
mhm.
I would love to go back.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they say at the beginning, like, we're not gonna have kids. We have enough problems just with ourselves. Bring kids into the picture. And
Mhm.
then they meet this kid, Leo, who is not
Mhm.
only an incredible drawer, but he's like a speed whiz at drawing.
Yes,
He draws that picture for so
so
fast.
fast, with the shading on her upper lip just right, to quote Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, it was a picture that was well done and
Yeah.
really fast. Good actor though. He was really
Oh
fun.
yeah. It was really
Precocious.
cute. And I loved pretty much everything with Leo. Then their
Mhm.
like bond. And I thought Alison Sweeney was very good. Any of those scenes, you're just like, oh.
Yes, yes. For all her, the first two movies, for all her. Oh no, not me. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
There was something in her that felt maternal, and something in her reached out to that boy and saw
Yeah.
a boy who needed her care and her
Yeah.
attention and her. And I love that she acted on that and thought and that they both agreed. We can do something for him, and it was really sweet.
Yeah. It was really cute. I really liked like I said, anything to do with the schoolmaster and Leo and
Mhm.
them. And it, like, I'm kind of person, I've never really thought of myself as super maternal.
Mhm.
And so I think that I definitely related to her character as she
Yeah,
grew attached to
yeah,
this boy.
yeah. Yes,
Eh,
and seeing, it wasn't like a baby like her friends had, but it was a child who she could help, and
mhm.
she saw his potential, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was such a
It was cute.
great storyline of when they're all walking up the stairs to get to the school. And Avery
Yeah.
Lacey there is like, oh great, more stairs.
I also just laughed when she is making PB&J out of tahini and fish eggs. I'm like, this.
That was so funny. This really did have those good comic moments. And he's like, because that's tahini. He's like, what?
I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I mean, I guess it would be in Italian or in Greek, but
Yeah.
still, I think
Whoa.
you would know the difference between fish eggs and jam.
Plus her sense of smell was, she had a head cold or something. That was funny.
Eh,
And then the way that the veil kept leaving her closet and going into the other closet,
yeah.
that was funny. They talk about the magic of the veil leading them to where they needed to be, but it was for this other couple, really. Well,
Yeah.
and then
What do
the
you
mom
think?
trying to matchmake the other
Yeah,
couple.
Lady Jane and then
Mhm.
Colin and Tessa. What do you think of them?
Um, I it was cute. It was fine. It was good that they found each other, and because
Yeah.
and their kiss was really swoony.
Yeah, I agree.
It's actually a good kiss. Um, I'm gonna blush all over. My
I
husband here
mean,
is in the other room talking.
this was a pretty sexy movie for Hallmark.
You're
You
right.
know,
Now that I
of
look back
like
at it.
them and sort of their issues as a married couple
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was.
Really, the last two, because Glacier National was a little that way too.
Oh,
We'll have
talk about that one. I have thoughts.
And so then there's also they go to visit the uncle who has dementia, I think.
Yes. Oh,
but they go in there and he's got all of Leo's drawings all over the room, which was very sweet.
That was very much so. I think for those who are facing this with their parents or loved ones who are starting to forget them, to have those moments with memories and building a bond is so crucial.
Yeah, that was really sweet. And then they find the school in New York City that he can go to. And then Lady Jane says she's going to sell her Winston Churchill letters for Leo. And then Colin and Tessa get married. And you see a year later, and Leo calls her mom, which was
that was
very sweet.
That was very sweet. I was surprised by that moment and how much I thought that was quite poignant.
Yeah,
I didn't think that would happen, and then he did, and
yeah. And then there's the legend of the necklace. So there's just legends all over the place.
Legends here and there. So much magic.
Yeah, so I'd give this one a 4.
Yeah, me too. It was, again, like we talked about in the beginning, this whole trilogy was just such a surprise to me, such a breath of fresh air, and really, really fun.
Yeah. All right. So then we had Love in Glacier National, a national park romance. Ashley Newbrow, Tegan Moss, Stephen Huzar, director Christy Wolf. Sparks fly when Hannah, an expert in avalanche forecasting, brings her new technology to Glacier National Park and faces pushback from the director of Mountain Rescue, who relies more on intuition and common sense. Their dual approach bring more than forecasting to the forefront of their hearts. So it was fun to have. We had the whole cast on for interview. We had Christy for the interview, and behind the scenes, my computer died, and I had the Christy interview on there, and I was panicking. But my dad saved the day, and he was able to retrieve it. So thank you, Dad.
Yes, thank you.
I would have felt so bad.
I know, and those were such good interviews. So I listened to those first before I watched it, and I was excited for the movie because I thought, I'm learning more about this behind the scenes stuff and how they really were so cold while they were filming it and where it was made and the thoughts they had about it, that I came in with higher expectations than the movie gave me. So, well, it's kudos to you and your interviewing skills. It was really fun and good for them to be promoting their movie in such an optimistic way, but it was not a good movie overall for me.
I do like it better than the dog one. This one,
I can give it that much. Yes,
there was a few things I liked. I liked the relationship between Stephen and his daughter. I thought that was good, and that was Chrissy's daughter. She did a good job, I thought.
Oh yeah. That was a good father-daughter. They were, I liked that a lot.
And I thought that there were some nice moments between like the two sisters and it did look beautiful. I kind of wish that it was actually in Glacier National Park. I mean, Fernie is really close, but it's Canada. I feel like it's weird to do a whole series on the national parks, and so far the two that they've done have not been filmed in this nation.
I know. Well, and I was so interested in your interview with the director because in Puerto Rico, my photographer, we were there to do some stories for our newspaper, and she wanted to fly her drone over this fort in San Juan, which is National Park Service owned, and they said nope, can't fly anything over National Park Service land. And so I was thinking, how are they going to get any shots of Glacier National? And then I learned it's Canada. It's not even. And I've been to Glacier National Park in the summer. So they did mention some of, they talked like they were there with some of the terms you would expect, like
well, I mean, I guess in it's really just a problem of the title, because they didn't really like pretend they were in Glacier National Park. They just referred to it as Fernie the whole time.
I did.
There was, unlike the Yosemite movie, that they didn't really pretend. And So that was fine, but I just feel like if we're going to be doing this as a series, like, what are they going to have something in Canada pretending to be the Grand Canyon? Like, what? I'm saying.
I know.
I mean, how many other
here for that? You know, they if they can't get to the Grand Canyon, they should film at Dead Horse Point State Park in Utah because it stands in. Like in Thelma and Louise, it's good for that. But maybe they've got a canyon, and they'll just do tight shots in Canada.
I feel like, is Utah that much more convenient than Arizona?
Just go right there. Exactly.
Yeah, just go to Arizona.
Yeah. At one point they mentioned Glenelg hike or lake or whatever, and my husband has hiked to that at Glacier. So they did mention one place that I recognize, but Fernie, you're right, that's all Canada.
I don't think that they have like skiing in the actual Glacier National Park.
No, I think you're right. Yeah. And like, yeah, and that was skiing.
There's not like lifts and stuff at Glacier. I've never.
Yeah, not that I've only been in the summer, and we went to the what's it called, Road to the Sun. People listening are gonna be like, "That's this, Mary! How dare you?" But but yeah, I don't know. Though the skiing, I thought they had two types. They had the downhill and then the cross country skiing. And I will give it to them. I did like the cross country skiing race between our two rivals, Sonia and that was a funny scene.
Yeah, I mean, but I thought most of the stuff with Sonia really fell flat. I appreciate them trying to have humor, but it just did not land.
So here's where I'll point out the parts I did not like with Sonia. I did not like that she was so pushy, and she comes over at night so forward. Well, my power's out. Can I just stay here? And I was like, dude, set some boundaries. Tell her no.
That was weird.
Tell her no.
And like the whole massage scene was supposed to be funny, and it just wasn't that funny. And like surprising that they're like wearing bikinis. That's very like surprising for Hallmark.
Well, IMDb, the trivia section of this movie on imdb.com, it said believed to be the first Hallmark movie with a bikini. And did they just want to put that in there? Because there's no way I'm getting, even if it's a heated pool, if there's snow outside, I'm not going into a pool. There's just no way.
Right.
It's too cold. So I don't know why they felt like, did they feel like they were pushing the envelope with that scene with the bikini and then the swimsuit snow angels, and then when she runs into him without a shirt on and she like slaps his chest and holds on to his chest for a hot second, like I look to Hallmark to be different than that. And I don't need these kind of faux edgy kind of things in this.
Like we have fun with Andrew Walker and Through Wiseman and a Baby when he's got his shirt off and he's so like I like a little bit of I'm fine them going a little PG-13, but but I don't know, I just felt like, especially because this is a winter movie, it was a strange choice that
to be showing so much
why
skin.
Are we like you expect it maybe at the beach or something like that. But I don't know, it was just the humor that didn't really work for me, and I didn't think that they had chemistry really at all. I mean, I felt like they had more chemistry in our interview than in the movie.
They were so bummer. I know, and watching it with them too on the YouTube version, watching them, they did have a lot of chemistry and having fun together. And in the movie, maybe because they felt like they had to keep up that conflict between science and at his point and her point over the avalanching. I've done some stories in the past as a journalist with our avalanche forecast center in Utah, and I wanted to say pretty sure some of his complaints were not valid. Like most avalanche forecasters at any major place, they're going to be keeping up with the times and the latest
things, it what was the one that because Christopher Wolf, she also, and I mentioned actually in my interview with her that she did the weather one, the rain one.
With
the old fashioned versus. And I'm thinking, I want my meteorologist to use I don't want them to just be like out in the weather with the cows. Like I want more.
Study the models, look at the computer simulations, and tell me what you think is going to happen. Not, my knee is achy. The cows are thinking, oh my gosh, I thought that too. I thought, if people's lives are at stake, you're going to be wanting to do everything you can. Though I did like when he showed her and then we look at the base water, and from this snow this out, because that's what's true. Like If you got a loose layer and then firm layer, it's going to slide. So all that was interesting, but some of it didn't quite ring that true.
Yeah, and I thought the scene where they were dancing was pretty nice. That was good. And she eats the Reaper floats with the little girl. Everything with the girl worked. Cute. It was
cute.
He was
so funny when Sonia comes over and the girl, she's like, "Remember when I managed you when you were getting fake eyelashes?" And she's like, "No, I wasn't." And then she's doing the plumper on her lips. She's like, "I think chapstick's fine." You know, that girl was so funny.
Yeah.
When she's like, "My power's out." "Oh, couldn't you call a friend?" So sassy. And then setting up the moment at the dance, and she's like, "Do you remember when you told me it wasn't a good idea to talk to my dad? Now's not a good time for you."
She was good. She really was
very good. She's loyal to her dad. She's a good friend. Now, here I've talked through, you know, I can give or take some of the science and all that stuff. The part that bothered me the most was because I've had dear friends who've gone through IVF and infertility. That storyline with the sister, part of me, when they started to introduce it, I thought, oh, this is good. We're acknowledging this. So many women feel so lonely in that situation where they can't talk about it, or they wish they could, or it's so hard and they feel isolated. I'm glad they're going to talk about this. But as the movie went on, they didn't handle it as well as I would have hoped, though acknowledging I've never been through that pain myself. It felt like they kind of got it wrong. IVF is the egg is fertilized outside of the body. So when she's telling her, "Come on, swimmers," you know,
that was so weird.
Yeah, that wasn't correct. And then
and it doesn't take, like, once they implant the fertilized egg, it doesn't, like, it either adheres or doesn't adhere. Like, it doesn't take like weeks, I don't think. I could be wrong. Again, I've never had it.
Well, there's just a lot more communication with your doctor and your husband, and you're always checking hormone levels. And they always told me the best time to take a pregnancy test was in the morning when your hormone levels are the highest. So for her to take one that night wasn't quite true. But the worst about all of that was that her sister wasn't there with her. It was her last chance. Her heart is on her sleeve waiting, and her sister's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to this dance," and she's there all alone. I felt my heart just went out to her.
It was really weird because you expect for a happy ending in a Hallmark movie. So for that to be the ending, and it just dropped and then never talked about again in the whole movie.
I kept, for my brain really to like help me not feel so sad about that, I was like, there were 2 pregnancy lines. That's why she's so happy. They forgot to put in the second in the movie. You know.
That's what I thought too. I actually rewound it. I was like, hey, wait, did I see it wrong?
And then that's it. And then they didn't even talk about it anymore. Weird. That was
that was really strange. And it's I've had a lot of friends who've gone through that whole process, and it is brutal. And the way that was handled, and that was just a bizarre line about these swimmers. Like, what? The Hallmark movie? I was baffled.
Again, are we trying to be edgy with that? But it wasn't correct. And that they just dropped it after that test, and then she's happy and doing snow angels with the girl. I thought something did it get left on the cutting room floor and they didn't realize it? I don't know. I'd like to know.
You need something, like maybe she's gonna get like what they did with Leo or something like that. You know, you need some happy ending for the character. You can't just leave it. It was
a tiny bit more closure on that storyline. Exactly.
Yeah. And there's this whole like scare at the end that
where he says, "You saved my life."
And he says, "Will you move here?" And she says yes. And so
that wrapped up very quickly. Legit.
I would give this to 2 crowns. Maybe I'll give Dogs 1.75 because I did like it less than this, but
this this one was better than that one. So I'm at 2 for this one.
Yeah.
It is the only time we've had an avalanche interrupt a kiss versus a cell phone. So
Okay.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hearty, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Quick here. Well, let's talk about the family history mysteries. Did you get to watch this or did you just watch the regular? Okay.
No,
family
I
history mysteries, Buried Past. And this follows Sophie McClure, a genealogist who is an expert bringing families together by researching their past. When her close friend Jonathan urgently needs to find a bone marrow donor, it brings his twin brother Jackson back into her life. This is directed by Jonathan Wright, writer Amber Benson, and of course stars Janelle Parrish, Nile Mater. And overall, what do you think about this?
I liked it. I didn't realize that was there another one in this, another family that I missed? Is this like a sequel or in a series or just a standalone?
No, this is the first. This is like a pilot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I want more of these characters. Really good, rich characters, and just some intriguing sorts of things that are happening there. They use a lot of ways that I, as a journalist, have often tried to do similar searches, going, you know, the tedious work. I liked that they shows them going through the work. It just didn't happen for them. You have to search public records, comb through online posts. So some good sleuthing there. Though I
was worried that was going to be boring, too much research, you know, but it really wasn't. It was really fun. And I loved Winston and Esme so much. That was such a fun surprise.
Show me more of them. Cute interactions, some just great chemistry, fun storylines. Very, very fun.
Yeah, I loved them so much. When he asks her on the date with the donuts.
Yeah.
It was so cute. And I didn't even know that they weren't on the IMDb, so I didn't even know that Keanu Teresa was in this movie. She was on Good Witch. I really enjoyed her in that. I really enjoyed her in this. She's looking into the case of these love letters, but really it was all about her and Winston. It was like he worked at the morgue or something.
Yeah, I think so. Where they would have to kind of interact and need that sort of that was so
cute. I loved them.
Yeah, and I want to see more of them and a new movie, what would happen with them, because they also left us hanging with our main characters and what's going to happen with them, because they're having like, I don't know if you ever, this is something my generation, I'm a year older than you, used to say, defining the relationship to have a DTR.
Oh yeah, DTR, yeah.
Okay, yeah. They're having this DTR moment in the car, like, well, but and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we got to get out and start doing our thing again. And I was like, wait, go back to that. Are they going to resolve that? So.
Well, they were just so cute when he's like, come on, Winston, use your words.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, I want these two actors in like a rom-com. Please.
Can you give me more of them? For sure.
They were so good.
They were very good. The brothers' interaction was good. Though at first I thought he's not showing too much emotion for having leukemia come back, but I realized he might have been trying to like stay calm, because then he snaps when they're eating at Tony's. Stop telling me how to feel. And that moment I was like, he does feel this deeply. He's been trying to be brave and have this brave face. And finally he's just like, enough, you know. So that
Jonathan was a lot. He had a lot of personality. It became kind of less about him and more about, you know, this mystery about their father. And I mean, that played out, I thought, very intriguing.
It did. Their whole lives to not know. And this whole time I'm like, please let him be a bone marrow match. They're working so hard to find him.
Yeah, and it was nice to have one of these which did not involve a murder.
Yes.
So that was fun. And the relationship between Jonathan and Jackson kind of evolved and grew over the course of the movie. And then you also find out that Niall had, Jackson had an opportunity to get together with Sophie.
Yes.
But he didn't make the move.
I know, dude. Make your move, because then it's that double layer, it's that double storyline of regret and what could have been, right? Not just with the father, but also with them. Like, if I'd only done this back then, what could have happened if I'd made that move?
Yeah, and then he gets so close to kissing her, and you're just like, what? You're trying again? And then he gives her that cheek kiss at the end, and I was like, I was talking to Anne while we were watching it. We were watching it around the same time. She wanted more than that cheek kiss.
Well, you've just had this big old bare your soul moment. She's like, just kiss me already. Was that them thinking, okay, we'll let them kiss in the next movie?
Yeah,
or is it,
I'm sure.
Is it showing how he was a little nervous or shy? Yeah, just go for it, dude. Go for it. No regrets.
Yeah. Then there's the whole thing about their stepfather, George, where he finds out that, because what happened is that the dad, after the accident, became blind. And he felt, he was going to come back, and then he felt like, oh, the boys already have this father and this character, and George was insecure, didn't want to lose his family, but I've said this many times, but kids in general can never have too much love.
Yes.
So if they have a stepfather and a father,
that's
and
great.
other people loving them. So as long as, because the problem is can you trust that person? Are they going to take the children away? That's the fear. But if you can trust them and just let them love, then then it's everybody wins. But I
know,
I loved the whole scene when they were like flirty eating Chinese food.
Yeah,
it was so cute.
That was very cute. It was. There was some really just strong acting in this one, where I believed them and what they were doing and how they were reacting to each other. That was cute.
And of course, once they find the dad, he is a match, and so
thank goodness.
Exciting.
It was so emotional when he's so tentative, waiting. These are my twin boys, and I haven't been in your life, and they just welcome him like, we wish you had been, but we're going to start from now, and from here forward, we'll move forward with this. And when they all hug, I was getting a little choked up. I thought, how many families have been torn apart by misunderstandings or different things, or where they should just, I shouldn't say they should just forgive. That's a hard thing for many people, but to extend that grace and forgiveness and move forward. And the bone marrow match was perfect. I was very happy for that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think it's one of the strongest mystery premieres in a long time. A long time.
Yeah,
so I'd give it like a 4.5.
Yeah, I think I'm at 4.25. I'd like to see more of this for sure.
Yeah. So there we go. We did it. We talked about them all.
Yeah, it was a full January.
It really was. It really was a full. I was thinking, are we gonna have enough to talk about these movies? But we did. So let us know, if you're listening, what you think of all of these movies. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And Mary, where can people find you?
Yeah, so on Twitter, I'm at _ Mary Richards, because some Mary Richards took my thing a long time ago. On Instagram, Mary Richards Reports. On Facebook, I'm reporter Mary Richards.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate it. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which is the best way that you can support us and help us. And we have a really fun patron watch along coming up this month with the stars for Meeting Mr. Christmas. We're going to watch the movie. It's going to be super fun. We have Madison and Greta coming. And so it's a perfect way to get the behind the scenes on your favorite movies. So definitely check that out. And then also we have our merch store where we have a bunch of Valentine's inspired merch. So check that out. We certainly appreciate it. And thanks again, Mary. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.